Hello, I'm Clay Coleman, the voice of James Clemens Jets football, and we're here for Friday Night Flight Plan. This will be something we'll feature the James Clemens Jets football team every single home game the week coming up to that. So we'll hang out with Coach McGee, we'll hang out with players. A lot of the stuff with the James Clemens students will be something that we will focus on to get stuff not just football focused, but also we'll talk to the band, we'll talk to cheerleaders, we'll talk to junior ROTC, just everything that's going to go on the week of a home football game for James Clemens Jets.
Huntsville International Airport to Madison City Stadium.
Copy, Huntsville Tower. JC Jets ready for target.
Target Athens Golden Eagles.
Target locked.
James Clemens Jets, you are cleared for takeoff.
So like I said, I'm Clay Coleman. I'll be kind of hosting this event along with the students here at James Clemens Jets at the high school. And we'll talk to our brand new coach, which may be the first time anybody's got to talk to you or hear from you or whatever, because I know it's been a challenging, but Coach Chad McGee, first off the bat, your last name. I'm sure you've had people at times botch your last name, but it is McGee, right?
It is McGee, yes. And when you get to be my age, you don't correct people when they do botch it. You just roll with it. Yeah, it's spelled M-C-G-E-H-E-E, but it's McGee.
Wow, what a ride that you've had. I mean, I think as far as a coach coming in after a COVID year, coming in after a coach that had been there for 9 years, you're coming into the 10th season of James Clemens Jets. You have to come in, you have to build everything. How has the whole process been for you so far?
I mean, it's been good. I mean, we're extremely busy and have been busy with the move and the change. And, you know, I've got two sons and, you know, getting them up here, getting them enrolled in school last year, and you know, coming out of COVID as well, and you know, just trying to get back to some normalcy. So it's been a little bit of a process, but it's been good, and you know, our kids have adapted and changed with the process, and we got new coaches, we got new faces, and you know, it's exciting and it's fresh.
So, as a new coach coming in. You know, let's go back a little bit to just your background, so as people getting to know you as a head coach. So tell us a little bit about your journey to become the head coach of James Clemens, back all the way to kind of what your process when you started through football.
Well, when I started, I guess it goes back to college. I played at the University of Alabama, and you know, coaching was something I wanted to do, and I wanted to pursue that passion and be around the game. And it's been good to me for my life, and I've gotten to do a lot of really cool things and play at some really cool places and build some relationships that have lasted a lifetime, and you know, it's something I wanted to pursue. And then, you know, after finishing Alabama, I moved to Georgia and started my career under Mickey Kahn at Grayson High School when we opened that school up, and then that was back in 2000. So this is year 22 for me coaching, and so it's kind of taken me on a journey from Georgia back to obviously 4 years ago coming to Hoover. And getting that opportunity to coach at Hoover, and you know, and now James Clemens. You know, I never imagined that, but you know, here we are.
One process that I think that I got to see when I got to know you was you come up here, you're having to build all this stuff, but in that process, you've got your two boys that are up here. Your wife is still in Hoover as they're doing, but let's talk a little bit about your family.
Here I've got Brett, who is a junior at James Clemens, and Clayton's a 7th grader at Liberty Middle School. So we came up, got them enrolled. I thought it was important for them to go ahead and get, you know, in the system and start to meet people before the end of the school year. And but my wife is a special education elementary teacher, and she stayed to finish the year up because she wanted to do right by them, and it would have been hard to replace her at that time. So, but she's up here now, and she's working at Madison Elementary and Horizon as well.
I think that's the one thing that's important. You see in the sports world, you get to see the coaching side of things, but I think sometimes we forget you're a husband, you're a dad. You know, you've got your own life, your own issues that you have to work through outside of football. So that was something I wanted to make sure, you know, during this Friday Night Flight Plan, as we get to know you and get to know the players, that we get to see that other side that's not just football. Okay, we've heard a little bit about Coach McGee from Coach McGee, but right now we're going to find out a little bit from his son, Brett, who's a junior at James Clemens High School.
He's hardworking, he's funny. I mean, he's very hardworking, I cannot tell you. He's done already so much for this football program. It's amazing. He played at Alabama. He was in the National Guard, actually. He cooks, and he's very good at cooking. So he's been coaching for 20-something years now, 20 years maybe. He was at Elkmont, which is near here, actually. We were over in Georgia for the longest time, then we came over here. He was down at Hoover, and now we're here. Honestly, his biggest fear is just losing in general, not just at football. He hates losing to me. He hates losing to anybody in my family. It's a weird fear, but.
Well, you've had a couple. You've had an exhibition game. You've also had your first game. I know it's one of these situations where the players are getting to know you just as much as you're getting to know them. What is your vibe so far of the guys you got, and where do you kind of see things going or hope things go throughout this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think things are going really well. Obviously, you know, Friday night was the first time that I got to see the guys in a live competitive environment on a Friday night. Having foregone spring and taking an extra week in the fall. It was really positive what I saw out there Friday night, and I think the kids are responding. I think they're learning what we're asking them to do and to execute. And I think we're just going to get better and better. But really excited about this Squadron 10 and being the 10th anniversary and this team. And we've got 29 seniors, so we've got a good senior class too. That we've talked to those guys about just hold the rope, and we talk about cross the line and holding the rope and pulling people across the line with you from good to great to elite.
Welcome back to Friday Night Flight Plan, and we're going to check in now with Abby and Libby, their weekly segment that they're going to call the Junk Drawer. They're going to actually get challenged by football players each week to do different stuff to find out how hard it is to be a James Clemens Jet.
Me and Abby are here with Jack Willis
and Chris King,
and they're going to teach us how to play football. So the first challenge we have to do.
The challenge is one person is going to be pushing the one-man sled with 45 pounds on it, plus the other person 20 yards downfield. Whoever loses has to roll 40 yards.
So first they're going to demonstrate to us how to push the sled properly, like the proper techniques, and then me and Abby are going to do it.
Push the sled right. You want to stay low to the ground, so have your hands about right here. And once you start moving, you want to drive your feet as hard as you can. So, like this. Oh. And just keep doing that for like 25 yards.
Okay, here we have Abby. Abby, how much do you weigh?
111 pounds.
All right, so I'm about to push 111 pounds. Okay. So, turns out we can't push it with the center on it or with the 45 on it, so we're just gonna push just the leg.
So I know that, one of the first things, my son is, a freshman there this year, and it's my first experience with just high school and football in general. But one thing that impressed me about you, the first time that we got to meet, you talked about the focus of the character of the kids and student, and not just, they're just a football player, but tell us a little bit about some of the culture that you are building with the guys and kind of some of the things you try to instill in them.
Well, I mean, we talked about family first. Forget about me, I love you, and building those relationships. For me, coaching is not about wins and losses. It's about these young men becoming better men. Nobody's going to care when you're 45 how many touchdowns you scored, or how many yards you rushed for, or how many interceptions you had. They're going to want a better father, a better husband, just better people. And so that's it always starts for us in our player development with the person first, and not the player. So we're all about developing these guys and their character as men, and trying to teach them life skills that are going to carry them, but speak wisdom into them.
All right, welcome back to Friday Night Flight Plan, each and every week covering James Clemens High School, the James Clemens football team, the band. But one thing that we're going to do every single week is we're going to feature one junior ROTC member at James Clemens High School. We're going to call it the Future Guardian of the Game. It's brought to you in part by Guardian Real Estate Group, Jerry Burrell, who's a local guy here in our community that has his own real estate group. He's a former military, and he loves to show love to current serving, active duty, as well as first responders. But we're going to feature every single week a future guardian of the game, and this week's future guardian of the game is Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Hauserman, and we'll find out a little bit about Ryan right now.
My name is Ryan Hauserman. I'm a senior at James Clemens, and my JROTC rank is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel. After high school, I plan to enlist in the Army, and afterwards, after serving 4 years, use it to go to college to become a wildlife biologist. What got me into JROTC was mainly my dad. He was in the Army for 12 years, and some of my uncles were in the Army as well. So they were kind of my inspiration to take the step to take the class.
The James Clemens Jets football team has been on the road twice. First for their Jamboree game, they went to Oxford, and then they had the game this past week down in Murphy in Mobile before they come home for this Friday night against Athens. But right now, let's check out some highlights from the Murphy and the Oxford games. Well, Coach, well, thank you so much for taking time with us. So we're going to get to know you. Wish you the best of luck in the season. This Friday night, you have your first Region 4 7A football game against Athens. It's senior night, first opportunity to be at Madison City Stadium. So we wish you the best of luck this season. We'll kind of continue to get to know you and the players, and really excited about, like you said, this year, 10-year anniversary of James Clemens football.
Yep. Thank you for having me. We're really excited. Go Jets.
And that's a wrap for our first episode of the Friday Night Flight Plan with James Clemens High School. Special thanks to Champies for letting us hang out here to do this show and every show each week. We'd also like to have a special thanks to the Jet Press and Mr. Clay Combs, producers Kinsley Hunter and Abby Wimberly, the crew Connor Douglas, McKenna Barnett, Zach Williams, Libby Harwell, Eamon Corelli, Carson Erskine, and Kinsey McGuirk. Join us next week for a preview of the big rivalry game between James Clemens High School and Bob Jones. Until next time, go Jets.
James Clemens Jets, you are cleared for takeoff.